I need to say something. See that fountain in the background? It looks like there's steam emanating from the food there, making it look that much more delicious, but I really need to get through this. So basically, long story short, we're taking a break from being chased by the ghost again, and this dialogue is just taking
Where
hours.
do we go from here?
Okay, here we go. It's not a question directed at anyone in particular, but they'll all look at me as if my face has all the answers in the world. Can't blame him, he's a detective. I used to think so back when I was at the top of my game, but I'm still sure of everything. But now, there's just uncertainty sullying whatever decision I come up with. Their beliefs have been flipped upside down. At some point, logic has simply stopped working here, and we've started grasping at straws. Along with exhaustion, fatigue, and stress, we have enough kindling to get a fire burning. Alright, so now we're talking a plan. The not so pleasant kind of fire.
Well, first, we can't just stay here. That much is obvious.
But we can't just keep running like this either, Becca. Sooner or later she'll...
As if we have a choice. We can't even go back to our own homes because that thing might get us. No, we're safe. But dying is the last thing I want to do right now, Isabella.
Well, dying's the last thing on anyone's mind. Well, for most people, sadly.
Not to a stupid chain letter. You were too gullible to pick up, bring with you, and show to everyone.
I didn't do it on purpose. Becca, had I known, I wouldn't have.
Hey, you two! None of us want to die to this.
Well, to this event's credit, at least it's bringing them all together.
Just calm down. We ain't getting anywhere shouting at each other.
Whose side are you on, Zachary?
No one's. But we can't just say it's her fault. She did warn us not to open it, and both you and Ashton...
That doesn't exempt her from any blame. She's still largely responsible for it.
And you're not?
I didn't say that! Do you really think I don't blame myself for this as well?
I tried to warn all of you. None of you listened. Now you're blaming me for something I kept telling you guys since day one? You're just as responsible for this as I am.
So now, you're throwing it back at us. We wouldn't even be having this problem if you're...
Well, you two cut it out! This ain't the place for... I don't know, petty squabbles!
If you don't want to get caught in it, then stay out of this, Zachary.
Oh no, Zach! Don't stop her! Let her say it! I'm sure she has plenty more to say. If I didn't know any better, she's already...
Already what? You want me to say it? Out loud? Then I find you in this whole thing!
Alright, that's enough! Everyone, shut up!
They all fall into silence at my words, and an awkward, stifling mood descends between us. I do not mean to shout, to snap at them. To add to that kindling, not in a moment when any time, anywhere, she might get to one of us. We're all in the same boat, and yet here we are, playing the blame game. Little by little, we're falling apart, caving in on the pressure. Did that ghost mean for this to happen? To divide each of us so she can pick us off one by one right now? Anything's possible now if her kind can exist. With the fire burning between us raising as high as it does now, I'm afraid, deathly afraid, that the possibility might come sooner that I can figure all this out. I still can't think straight. I can't even believe the next words coming out of my own mouth. And out of everyone, I have to be the one saying these to them. This is more than forte than mine. Keeping the peace, placating everyone, while I unintentionally aggravate people with badly chosen words. Funny how fast the tables have been turned after just one unfortunate incident. How even am I supposed to cope?
If we all want to get out of this mess in one piece, we're gonna have to cool our heads first.
And no, not the anime One Piece. Right. Before my own temper flares, I walk away and slide back to my car. If the door slams with more force than needed, I like to blame it on the pent-up anger boiling up in me. I'm not even sure what or who I am angry at. The ghost? At them? Or maybe at myself for being this useless? Because despite none of them saying it, I know they're still counting on me. In spite of my failures, of every harsh word I've uttered, or how unbearable I can be as a friend, it's there when the tension after the argument finally breaks. One by one, they follow me and get in the car. It's in concerned glances they shoot my way when I start the engine without a word and drive off. It's in their silence, a heavy gift, their unwavering trust. Yet it's one I'm more than willing to carry, even though my own exhaustion, if only to keep them safe. In this city of 68,000 strangers, they're the only ones I have left. In all seriousness, a good rest is still our best bet for now. Let's go to the Irish pub, eh? Maybe we'll find Miss McCulloch there. Maybe she can help us. Okay. I'm sorry, I know you don't like it when I skip dialogue, but this is a long game and I need to get through it and I'm busy, okay? Okay, alcoholic booze. Okay. And now there are voices lacing venom inside every crevice in my mind, murmurs that jeer, scoff, and deride whenever an opportunity presents itself.
It's because you did this.
What?
It's all your fault.
Why won't you believe me?
A reminder of what I failed to do, and of who I failed. Voices in my head. At some point they all began to blur together, twining and coiling. Every horrid image and memory of her, seeking the forefront of my mind. No matter how much I refuse to remember the fear I felt then, to push it as far back as I can, the visions come to me like a deluge. And before I know it, before I can drown, another voice pulls me out of it.
You're doing good there, boy.
His hand is on my shoulder, gripping it tightly and giving me a light shake. He sounds like the chief. There's relief in his face when I finally look at him. Okay. Are the chief, the priest, and the bartender the same person? Or are they triple brothers or something? It's deeper now, marred with worry and agitation. He does let go when I offer him a small nod, but the furrow between his eyebrows never leaves his face. He always has a knack for reading people after all. In all the time I've spent in the force, there's only one other person who's keen as this old guy, the chief. Funny and weird to some degree. I've pointed out to him so many times before how much they look alike, only for the observation to be brushed off by a vehement tone. I've never brought it up again after the third time out of respect for the guy. Whatever it is, it's clear it's something he doesn't want to talk about. Why push right? However, during times like this, it's impossible for the thought not to come up. He even has the glare down pat. Under his wordless scrutiny, I feel like a rookie again.
You're looking a bit green. Sure you got plenty of rest back there?
G. So he's the G-man, Mr. Freeman.
You were only out for an hour or two. Wouldn't hurt to try and get some sleep.
No need. Don't worry about me. I won't be able to get some sleep anyway.
Not with her face still a clear picture in my head, no.
Dad heard that from you before. Not buying it. What's the story this time?
I've been pursued by a ghost. Oh, that's deep, man.
This as bad as that case with the guy who ate his own eyeball.
I wish it were. Jesus, stop reminding me. I hated that case. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you get a kick out of telling people about it.
It's useful, you know, for blokes who don't know their limits. Sends them right out the door after I stole the description. Or was it in the part when the bull schmuck gouged his eyes out? Nasty, awful, icky stuff, and it gets the job done. Like I said, useful. Don't even need to call security these days if I want to kick someone out. Anyway, pretty sure that pales in comparison to whatever this is now. I haven't seen you this stressed out since they closed that case. The one from 10 years ago, with your professor friend.
Abigail and her team weren't able to solve that one, G. No one has been able to. It just went cold.
Same difference.
Don't worry, cold case detectives like J. Warner Wallace can easily look into that sort of thing.
But what do I know, eh? I just serve drinks, listen to people's problems and their whining, then make sure they get home safe afterwards. Thing is, I'm also not blind, kiddo. And you can bet your ass I can tell when a person's about to fall apart.
What? Is this some form of therapy from you? Are you going to offer me free drinks now?
Really, I can use some right now. Something to numb the senses. But when has that helped anyone?
In your dreams, kid. Last time someone gave you the hard stuff, your photographer friend had to haul you out of this place almost half naked.
Hey, I can handle my liquor when I put my mind to it.
Not from what I've seen, nope. Besides, you usually avoid drinking. Either way, it's out of the equation. And when booze no longer counts, we just talk. So, talk. It's not like anyone within earshot will care. That chap over there only wants his cricket matches.
I doubt you believe it, G.
I've heard worse stuff. Try me.
You know that mansion down in Anslum?
Yeah, who doesn't? You live in this town long enough, it's impossible not to hear a thing or two about it. Bloody locals.
Well, my friend found a printed version of a chain letter in there. Now that we've seen it, we're cursed.
A beat passes. For a long moment, G stands there unmoving. His hand stops short of pacing the glass he's been wiping prior back to a rack on his left. All while he stares at me with eyes that are nothing short of scrutinizing. He probably assumes I'm joking. Who wouldn't? Not a week ago, I've been put in the same position. Even now, in spite of the things I've seen and heard, it simply won't sink in. Or maybe this is just desperation creeping in. The idea that I may not be able to find a way out of this. Whatever the case is, for people who hasn't experienced what I'm going through, this'll merely sound like an awful Halloween prank.
It's not a prank.
This must have been what Isabella felt the whole time we made fun of her that day.
This isn't a prank! I saw something!
Now it's too late. My time has come, sent shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth.
Good one, kid.
Mama!
You don't want to spill. No one's forcing you. Seriously, though. Good one.
Ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, 'cause nothing really matters.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, alright, good luck with that. You're on your own.
Well, we told the truth to you, bartender.
Here I thought you didn't have an ounce of humor in that body. Guess I'm wrong.
If you want to see it that way. He shakes his head, lets out another chuckle before returning to his task. By now, almost half the glasses have been put away. The only ones remaining are the smaller kind used for shots and stemmed ones for cocktails. Despite being busy with his task, his amusement does not entirely disappear from his face. He keeps talking as if I'm simply another customer he entertains with his stories. But we both know it's more than that. It's the wistful expression on him that says everything.
Can't believe you're the same rookie who walked in here almost a decade ago. Too smart for his own good, that boy. He's always been 2 steps ahead of things. Now he's here, sulking.
I must have screwed up somewhere then.
I must have screwed up a lot. For things to suddenly shift like this, for me to become a mere shadow of the person I used to be.
Nah, I don't think so. This one, screwed up, not by a mile. It's too early to say, you've still got several years ahead of you, Holmes. Take it easy.
Thanks.
But some things change, eh? It has been years, and you were a kid back then. You know, the sort that's a bit unsure, making all the...
You never stopped calling me kid, though.
Well, you still are. It's just that this time, you're sure of who that badge and gun is for. What was it you police types usually say? To protect and serve, yeah?
A significant pause follows at its heels, when both of us... Alright, where are we here? Okay, this is just merely the effects in happening now. Okay. Oh, hi Zach.
Did you, get any sleep?
It's a start at least. For a conversation, the least I can offer in return is that rare honesty.
For a few hours, yeah.
Better than none. Curt, brusque, not an ounce of friendliness in it. In spite of it, Zach takes it as a sign. Relief washes over him as his shoulders relax and he releases a tense breath. Soon, he's closing the distance he has put between us and flops onto the chair to my right.
I think the better question is if the dreams are pleasant. And for the record, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get those a lot.
Hey, these brothers can relate. He shifts in his seat, coughs, jumps his fingers on the counter for a short while, then falls silent. That's it. No apologies. Somehow, that short exchange is all we need. The air changes again, much like everything we've known lately. Maybe not for the better. Not yet. However, it's less suffocating, with less hostility and resentment. The kind where it's easy to pretend, easy to forget. Oops. In a situation where death might come knocking any time, it's these little hopes we cling to. Never underestimate the little things in life, everybody. Never underestimate those mustard seeds. Yeah, that's a good point. As long as you're hopeful.
Why are you suddenly smiling like that?
Huh? Oh, no, I was just thinking about something.
Well, it better be something that'll get us out of this mess.
What makes you think I know how to fix this? Until 2 days ago, I didn't even believe a word you guys have been telling me. Zach, I function better when I'm dealing with homicide cases. Hell, feel free to throw in the usual robbery and missing persons case into the mix. I don't care. Give me a few days and I'll give you a lead. This isn't how I operate. This isn't what I'm good at.
Well, you know what? There's a first time for everybody. Oops.
For all you know, I might even end up getting us killed. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, the fact that you're frustrated but still trying already means something, Ash. Besides, you don't make that face unless you already have an idea. It can't be any worse than this. Maybe. So in mind, Ash.
There really is something about Z-Man. Between Rebecca and him, I tend to share with him things I won't normally say to the other. Unlike her, who pushes sometimes into the nearby Tennessee as sheer moods, Zach has this strange tendency to ease people into telling him what he wants to know. Oftentimes, this question feels so subtle it catches me off guard with less force and more forbearance. After all, out of everyone, he's the most grounded. Really, he's like the older brother I never had. The kind you can depend on when things go sour. The kind who tells you simply because he'll listen, without forcing his own opinions on you. Yeah, that's just made me think about my own life.
We still have one more lead we haven't checked. I'm gonna look into it tonight.
It doesn't take him long to put two and two together, and his calm expression abruptly dissolves into worry the second he realizes what I mean. We've already examined the letter, read through piles of documents. There's really only one we haven't given a once-over. The mansion. Of course, Zach may not be the kind to push, but that doesn't mean he agrees with everything that comes out of my mouth. It's his way of keeping me steady and on my feet through the years.
Hold on, didn't you tell me not to go in there? Whatever happened to stay away from Blue Pride?
You're an unarmed civilian, Zach.
And so?
So, I want you to stay here and keep yourself safe. Probably won't take too long, but I don't know what might happen. I'm not even sure if I'll find something in there. G will keep an eye on you guys. If you need anything, that woman shows up, just holler. He'll help out, no questions asked. You don't even need to explain anything.
He's not willing to concede. Not from the manner he grips his knees or in the rigid set of his jaw.
I'm going with you. You can't go in there alone, Ash. I heard something. The morning I was there, I heard someone scream, and then there was a woman crying, and I don't know what's going on inside that mansion, but I am telling you, you shouldn't face whatever's inside alone.
Before I can stop myself, a heavy breath escapes from my mouth. It's one of those times again where Zach means well, but he completely missing the point I'm trying to make. When things take a turn for this, when he gets in a mood like this, he's almost as headstrong as Isabella. Right. I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you. You'll only get in the way. I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you. There are only two ways that this will end. I agree with him and take him with me, or agree with him and drop the idea altogether. Neither appeals more than the other, especially when we're all desperate for answers and a way out. If all it'll take is a little more honesty to make him drop this harebrained idea, so be
Look,
it.
man. Bro. Z-Man. Zach. Zachary, listen.
Zachary Duda. Zachary.
I know you only want to help.
Like hell! This ain't just about helping, Ashton! You're throwing yourself in the thick of it on your own!
With no one there beside him.
Was your fall last night really that bad? Did you hit your head hard? I honestly can't tell if you've gone stupid or just plain suicidal.
My head's okay, Zach. But it won't stay that way if we don't do anything about this. Someone has to.
Seriously, this is already a desperate move. The longer we dally, the faster we're losing our options. Do we even have one? Looking back at it, this whole business with the ghosts seems perfectly set up to drive us into a corner. Either until we lose our minds, or he gets us. It's starting to feel as if there isn't an escape. We've already become our playthings the second Isabella found that letter. So when down we go. Anyway, let's do this.
And that means it's just you.
Just me.
Suddenly he clams up. Although his actions, the restless shift in his shoulders and his mouth pressing closer to the tight line, and how he starts off again in a quiet note. It all gives away his real thoughts, long before two words have ever been made out of his mouth.
Sure you already know about this. Maybe this is you trying to make amends, or whatever. I don't know. You're making your own decisions here.
We all got debts to pay.
But if something happens to you, it'll be just that. It'll just be another dead body out there. Please, don't do something like this.
Don't worry. I'm not stupid enough to get myself killed. I just want things to go back to normal, Zach.
Another dead air following. To his aside, we're both aware that's impossible. We're going to have to deal with the trauma right after. The foreboding feeling, the stench of blood and gore and death trailing after us. We may survive this, but those things, they'll remain in us for a long time. One does not survive something like this without it leaving something in you. Just the mere thought of what might come right after makes me dread it. What this has changed in all of us. But I suppose that outcome is more acceptable. The lesser of two evils.
3 hours.
My head snaps up and I turn to him, puzzled. He's staring at his hands with a thoughtful expression, brows furrowed in deep concentration. Like he's trying to choose the right words to convey what he's about to say.
3 hours? For what?
That's more than enough time to go there, to check things, like you said, and travel back here.
I keep pressing that button.
If you don't show up here beyond that, I'm going after you.
From this tone, it sounds almost like a warning. I'm sure it's not his intention. But hearing something like that from a person like Zack, I can't help but chuckle and throw in a jibe despite how dire things are. Just like the old times.
Make that 4.
What? You said you're just gonna check things. Why would you even need that long?
Speed limit? I'm a ranked law enforcement officer, Zach. I'm supposed to set an example.
I so wanna punch you right now.
Of course, Zack never carries it out. In light moments like this, it's just how he is. How we are. Unfortunately, G chooses the next moment to show up. He slams the flat of his palm on the counter and shooting us both a stern look. Although his tone's nothing short of jovial, his disapproval is clear.
Boys, drummer's nice and all. I used to watch these bloody god-awful afternoon serials with one of my brothers many, many years ago. But listen, I am not having one in my pub, alright? You two want to fight? Go out.
You want to take this outside? Sure. Wow, what a lovely evening. This was a really good idea. A pregnant pause, which will give birth to either something awkward or something go outside. That's like snickering. Right. Alright, let's head outside. Zack has sent me to my lowest plenty of times. Why does it all matter now? The sun hangs lower than I stumble back into consciousness and drag myself downward stairs. After this time, the patrons usually start to trickle into the main lounge until it reaches a peak around midnight. Today, however, it remains thin. But considering what day it isn't worrisome for the kind of business G runs. He's always complained about the lack of a decent crowd and weak start, although he doesn't really begrudge his customers for it. No one wants to start the week with a bad case of a hangover after all, even him. Which makes the concerned look he gives me come out a bit too odd. With the kind of danger we're in, this swiftly puts me on the edge, even before sleep completely fades from my mind.
Something wrong, G?
G hums.
Nothing much. Monday's still a slow day for this place. But you might want to check on your friends, kid. Looks like one of them woke up on the wrong side of the bed while you were out.
Another question forms in my head, along with a small confused frown. Though before a single syllable slips past my mouth, Rebecca's irate voice rings out from some part of the main lounge.
Alone? You know we can't just go in there.
But we don't have any other choice, Becca! There's really no other way! We have to go there! It'll just...
Isabella, no!
That doesn't sound too comforting. Once Rebecca assumes that kind of tone in an argument with Isabella, it usually ends with one of them walking out, or both giving the other a silent treatment. It lasts for about a week, or for most, if it's really bad, which really isn't what we need right now. I have hoped the bad blood from this morning will simply blow over. After all of us has gotten a decent rest. I should have expected things won't be the same with them as it is with Zack and I. Turns out, sleep isn't just what some of us need. Even G appears to understand it in spite of his efforts. A nervous edge lingers in his eyes as it occasionally flickers over where Rebecca and Isabella's voices are coming from. He doesn't want to deal with this, especially at the start of another busy week. Neither do I. Things have worked out well between them before without Zack or I meddling. But the imploring gaze D directs at me leaves me no other choice. I hate that it's working.
You know how I run this pub, kid. No fist fights, no cat fights, only good booze, bad puns, and off-key singing.
Off-key singing, that's reassuring.
Go fix it before it blows up in your faces. I'd hate to throw two girls out of this place over a petty argument.
It's probably not as petty as Rebecca is already shouting like that, but I give him a nod nevertheless.
Sorry about this, G.
He hums something under his breath for an answer and waves me off, turning away and returning to his work without another word. Even with the lack of a sizable crowd, he likes to keep busy. We're the same in that regard. Can't remain still, always has to stay moving, doing something, thinking. Whatever keeps the brain at work. I leave him to it shortly afterwards. Rebecca's voice rings out once again, followed by Isabella's. But part of me wants to thank him for all the trouble he has taken for people he barely even knows. Once this part is over, I should probably find some way. In the meantime, I have this immediate problem to fix. Gotta get to this before it turns to a spoopy storm both of them will regret. And I know both of them will. For all of Isabella's complaints about Rebecca's bossy attitude, or how annoying Rebecca sometimes finds the other's childlike demeanor, it's a friendship they both cherish in their own way. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. A cat fight. They're gonna have a fight. Brace yourselves. Empty plates and empty tables, where the girls will argue now. Alright, let's get this over with.
You've already gotten us in enough trouble because of this let a ghost everything.
You're blaming me again!
And you can't expect everyone to fix your mess.
You keep on putting the blame on me, but you're the one who didn't listen. All of you! If you just listened in the first place, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But you're too busy acting like you know what's best for everyone, when in fact you're the one who's being selfish.
Ooh, atomic truth bomb there. Avoiding the inevitable.
I'm the one who's selfish. Yet you're still going to do what you want anyway, even if the people around you are already beside themselves with worry. This is how you've always acted since we met, and I'm tired of it. Sometimes I wish you never even came here, because all you've given us is a headache.
You know why I haven't come here. My dad.
Your dad has nothing to do with this.
He has everything to do with this.
It has always been you and your whiny, careless self that has always been the problem.
She doesn't understand. Maybe I should have stepped in earlier. Maybe I should have said something the moment Rebecca had slammed the flat of her hand on the table or a second I've entered the area. Time out, Rebecca. Time out. Time out. Time out. Time out. Time out. Okay, this is gonna get awkward. Oh boy. Stubbornness is in the air. Oh man. Surprise flirts with his face, expression mirrored by Rebecca behind her. Neither of them have noticed me. However, that doesn't mean I won't have things to write about this. Oh man. Oh man, oh man. Alright, let's see where these choices go. There's gonna be a whole bunch of choices here. And then a whole bunch of wiggly-woggly choices here, leading to another choice. And then wibbly-wobbly-woo, they lead back to here. And then this path will lead all the way to here. Or we'll just see where it goes. I got the save point here in case anything goes wrong. Sorry, Rebecca.
Okay.
Rather than answer, once her shock subsides, she merely averts her gaze and hastily wipes the tears off her cheeks, like she only noticed them in that moment. Then, without another word or a meeting in my eyes again, she gently brushes away my hand and runs off. Gently brushes away my hand, leaving an awkward hush in her wake. Rebecca soon slumps on the chair. Isabella has just left, gingerly reaching up to press the bridge of her nose, breathing out a ragged exhale. Arguments like this have always been drained both her patience and energy. Usually more than her rowdy student does, despite being no stranger to it. It's no excuse for her, says the things though, and my disapproval must be clear enough in my face. When she finally glances back at me, her exhaustion immediately shifts back to annoyance, her mouth curved down with a straight frown. I cross my arms in response, waiting. A reaction, verging on instinctive in the far face of her irritation. Regardless of my opinions about this, I don't say anything yet. Not until she's the one willing to talk. Another minute passes. while we stare each other down, but eventually she breathes out again and relaxes her rigid posture.
What do you want, Ash? If you have something to say, just tell me, or I'm going back upstairs.
Did you really have to say it like that?
Well, how do you want me to answer her? Do you want me to just let her go there and do what she wants? I know you won't be too happy if I did that.
That's a low blow, Rebecca. Even for you. We all know she wasn't even planning on staying here this long. There was no need to bring it up if all you wanted to do was stop her.
Did you even see how she's acting? She's not a child anymore. Even my students can do better.
Becca, she'll listen if you'll just ask her properly. I know you mean well and you do have a point, but please be a little more thoughtful next time. Go think about it for a while.
By some miracle, the whole discussion ends right there, thank God. Rebecca elects to stay silent, or at least it's how it seems when a minute or two passes and she says nothing. A rare occurrence when she almost always has something on her mind. And only an uneasy atmosphere hangs in the air when I finally decide to remove myself from the room. She doesn't stop me. Instead, something inexplicable flickers momentarily in her eyes, one that quickly disappears until only a vague notion of it remains in memory. But in that one exchange, I've caught a short, clear glimpse of what's shifted, of what's inevitable. How much has changed throughout the years. We will never be the same person we once were, and it's for the better. We've yet to know. A lull has descended to the main lounge once I return. G's nowhere to be seen. Soon these people too will be gone and the whole place will be devoid of anyone. I'm getting that Studio Ghibli music again. Blessed and beautiful. Hey, Isabella. In her hand, she flips a piece of folded paper, turning it from one side to the other without any purpose. The letter. A small frown creases her forehead while she stares at it. Yet there's something oddly tranquil in the picture she has unknowingly painted. Something I can't bring myself to disturb. It only for a few seconds. It's one of those moments again. The rare ones, the ones where she's too still, too quiet, a complete opposite of her usual self. But it's these that often leave a mark. Not her cheery disposition or her lively attitude, but these short few seconds of wordless silence when the softest sighs and the slightest movements sing louder. The smallest, minuscule things that tell you about the person and her strength more than any words can express. And these that carve a vivid memory, no matter how brief it lasts. She glares at me annoyed, and just like that, all of it melts away. Gone is the stillness, replaced quickly by the teasing and friendly jibes. Back again to what we're used to, what's easy, what's familiar, where every truth we hope to convey regrettably goes unsaid between us.
You're going to destroy an important piece of evidence if you keep doing that, Belle.
But she's far from angry. A bit upset, maybe. Why wouldn't she be? While I do agree with Rebecca, her words still hit below the belt. Regardless, Isabella doesn't seem like she'll be shouting at me. At least compared to every other people I've aggravated. Which choice did I pick? Just double checking if I, picked the right one. Okay, okay, yeah, I was just double checking. Some light talk may just do the trick and coax her out of her mood.
Come on. If you keep staring at the table like that, you're going to bore a hole on it. I really don't want to OG a new table. She'll pick the most expensive one and leave me begging on the streets.
She levels a quick glance at me, her expression dry and impassive, as if I've told her every terrible joke she's expecting there'll be more. Really now, she needs to give me more credit than that. My jokes are funny when I want them to be.
I really don't care. I even take pictures and post them online. Go away, Ash. I don't want to talk right now.
Yet it sounds half-hearted at best. Like what's happening has already sapped every bit of energy in her, and all that's left are the words. Pretty soon, those two will lose their meaning and leave a hollow shell in their wake. Death's a scary thing. we can manage somehow. Right.
Okay, I have another one.
I don't want to hear it, Ashton. Go away.
No, really, listen. I know someone who talks like an owl.
Will you leave me alone if I bite and ask who?
Ask who? If I ask who? Ask who? 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 In fact, I actually did a similar joke with Neil. Maybe I'll put the footage in here. And then she finds this realization slowly dawns on her. Confusion flashes fleetingly before her face before eventually settling on a grimace.
Oh.
Suddenly, she hugs her arms closer to herself, looks away, perhaps in her best attempt to stay angry. To no avail.
You're awful and I really hate you! Just leave!
Oh man.
Feeling better?
A little. You're still lame.
Bad
But
joke.
you're laughing right now.
Yeah,
Only because your humor is terrible.
precisely. Too bad.
Right. Keep telling yourself that. I know it's funny. And you know what? If you kept frowning like that, your face might have cracked. That would have been really messy and ugly.
If Glarus can kill, with the one she sends my way, I'll probably be dead by now. Death stare. Seeing it directed my way, it takes only a few quick seconds for me to realize how she might have also taken my statement. How wrong and rude it might have sounded in her ears, however unintentional it is. I've never been good with words, but that's never an exceptional excuse, is it? Suddenly, taking the brunt of her anger seems less complicated than correcting or explaining myself. Nevertheless, I try.
What? Crap. Damn it, that was so not what I meant. I was just saying you look better when you're smiling.
All in one word. Oh my. The crowd outside looks very interesting today. Maybe I should.
Thanks, Ash.
She utters it all in a voice too small and too quiet, but when I turn to her, only those words, her gratitude, resonate throughout the whole room. Not the soft clinking of silverware somewhere, not the last strains of music fading into silence above us. Instead, it's the meaning behind her gaze, as she holds mine that lingers. I wonder who's playing the piano right now. Steady, unflinching, and open in the same way she looked at me all those years ago. Bright eyes, an expression softened with a tender smile. Something about the piano, it just makes you reminisce about life. It's a wonderful spiritual energy to this piano. I didn't understand it then. How easy it is for her to wear her heart on her sleeve. How she ever shies away from expressing herself, even among people she barely knows. How she can go through everything without losing herself. Astounding. Now it's among the hundreds, the thousands, that hang unspoken between us, trivial little things, with worth still too big to put into words. Either because it's too early, or because there's never really proper time. For now, enough. Though this'll do. Until the moment itself dwindles. Until reality pulls us back in, reminding us of the things we've set aside in its favor.
Isabella, about what happened with Rebecca earlier.
I should probably apologize to Becca. I know she only means well. And I said some really bad things.
The corners of her mouth quirks up, almost as if she's too ashamed of the things she said.
Don't worry, she can be pretty stubborn, but she'll listen. Especially to you.
You think?
Because Zach won't be with us anymore.
That was completely different from the line there, and that was closer to the mic, if you don't mind me saying, Ashton.
She won't stay angry for long. I can vouch for it.
She has a point, though. Isabella freezes in an instant. The pleasant air around us dissipates. She shifts her attention back to her hands again, both clenched so tightly that her knuckles visibly pale.
I know, Ash. I just thought we'd find something in there. That if I go back, we'll get the answers we need. I found the letter there, so maybe, right?
It's not that I don't agree with her. Heck, I've been considering the same thing. It's the only lead we have, after all. But Rebecca also has a point I will always agree with. No matter how desperate I am, it's not going to be a simple walk in the park. Who knows what we might find in there? If she comes with me, I won't be able to guarantee her safety. She'll be in even greater danger. Hence, alone. Exactly as I've told Zack. But there also needs to go back to that cursed place. I'm doing it on my own. Whether or not the rest of them agreed with this plan is inconsequential. Their well-being is my top priority, and I'm not just about to drag them in there with me. So I tell her as much, despite the determination and desperation in her eyes. Anything to keep her safe. Alright, now where does this lead? Another choice. Okay. If I make a mistake, I can go back. I can't let you do that. It's dangerous.
Forget it, Belle. You're not going back to that mansion.
But Ash, what about...
This isn't up for debate. Do you really think they'll just let you in? Do you really think they'll give it to him if you walk in there carrying that stupid letter of all things?
No, but there has to be something we can tell them. Ash, they were with me during the open house. They have to know. They're in as much trouble as we are. They're living in that place. The ghost woman came from there. Both her and the letter. Something's in that house, Ash. And whatever it hides might be the only thing that'll get us out of this mess.
Alright. Suppose you do find an answer there. What happens? Let's say that by some dumb luck, you got inside and found something. What if you see her again? What if she goes after you? What are you going to do?
It's not like we have any other choice. Besides, I'm pretty sure you've already thought of the same thing. Admit it.
That doesn't mean I'm going to let you run straight into trouble. What you're planning to do is risky. For you. Give it up, Isabella.
Unexpectedly, Isabella merely clams up. No resistance, no further argument like I've come to expect from her. Uncharacteristic. Just a silence that stretches far too thin. A standstill that'll get us nowhere. Although, if there's one thing our talk has wonderfully succeeded at, it's making me feel like a total hypocrite and an asshole. I am considering my plans tonight. Sure, I can tell her, but what good would it be? I've already told Zack one person is enough. Heck, simply letting someone in on the plan makes me iffy. Broadening that circle and revealing too much would cause another pointless concern. But someone has to be aware, at least of where I'm heading off into, in case things don't pan out. Expect the worst, even if I've only intended to do a quick survey of the place. In my words, risky. Isabella doesn't need to be a burden with the worry my entire scheme entails. I like to think that yes, to some extent, she understands, yet even if she does not entirely agree with me, the dilemma's clear to her. Otherwise, her scowl wouldn't make a deeper set. Okay, let's get through this. I really don't have enough time.
Belle, can we... alone?
Right, that's probably a good place to end it there. I'm curious about the other, so I'm not going to save the game as such. I'm probably going to come back to it. So thank you all so much for watching the letter once again. That got quite seriously dramatic there, but we'll see where this case goes. Next time we play this horrifying game called The Letter. See you next time, if you dare.